All right, everyone to your places.
We're ready in here, sir.
How are we in the studio?
Stand by, sir. Get the lights.
Yes, sir. Striking.
Quiet on the set, please. We're on in 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Arlington Weekly News. I'm Craig Nolan. Thanks for joining us.
Buenas noches, soy Daniel Pineda.
My name's Adele Quo.
Buenas noches, Senior Pineda. Thanks for joining us on this, our post-inaugural edition of the Arlington Weekly News for 2017. We hope you survived the inaugural and you're doing okay after our new President Trump is in office and taking charge of things. Well, we have our usual lineup of sorts here tonight. Our News and Community Bulletin Board, Adele Quo, is here with
It's Easy Being Green.
And a new segment for that. Stay tuned for that. Also an interview, Miriam Gennari is here with a couple of interviews, our News for Seniors segment, and that's our show. But before we go, a social media reminder from my partner.
Absolutely, Craig. Well, you can watch the Arlington Weekly News on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Arlington Weekly News. And yes, the number 1. Also, facebook.com/Arlington Weekly News. Craig.
All right, gracias, Senor Pineda. Well, we begin with breaking and rather disturbing news. A dead body was found in an Arlington park near the Potomac. A hiker informed authorities that he saw a body lying in a tree-covered area between the Potomac River and the George Washington Memorial Parkway in Windy Run Park. Park police, county police, and firefighters responded to the scene. According to the police spokesperson, the deceased is a male, and that's about all we know so far. We'll give you more information as that becomes available. Daniel.
And Craig, last weekend the metro area was packed with attendees for President Trump's inauguration and the Women's March. Now on Friday, January the 27th, the 44th annual March for Life will be on the National Mall. There are no definite numbers on what crowd size to expect. However, they are over 5,000 people who said they will attend on the event's Facebook page. Metro will run more 8-car trains and postpone track work. They recommend traveling outside of rush hour to avoid crowds. Craig.
And Daniel, also in our news items, American poet Edward Arlington Robinson wrote the poem House on the Hill. Now Arlington police have also focused on a house on a hill, the so-called RPH mansion at 201 Chain Bridge Road. Just like Arlington's fictional house, the house is shut and still. The estate has been evicted. The former owner, Rodney Hunt, was a multi-millionaire whose fortunes dwindled in the wake of large debts, bankruptcy, drug penalties, and lots of things. The house has been on the brink of foreclosure for many years. It's also well known to police who have responded to several theft and disturbance calls, including a drive-by shooting. Mr. Hunt also threw lots of highly publicized parties at that house. Monday's eviction may be the end of Mr. Hunt's battle to hang on to the property. Several moving vans and sheriff's office vehicles were seen on the property. The house was sold at foreclosure auction for a fraction of its previous value, which was estimated at $24 million. Daniel.
And Craig, now news on an Arlingtonian who is making big moves overseas. Ultra runner Mike Wardian has performed well in his spot in the U.S., but now he's expanding to make his mark internationally. In Antarctica, Wardian set a record for the fastest marathon run in the Antarctica leg of the 2017 World Marathon Challenge with a time of 2 hours, 54 minutes, and 54 seconds on Monday, January the 23rd. Every day of the week, he is running in a different country on a different continent. Chile, the U.S., Spain, Morocco, United Arab Emirates, and finally Australia on Sunday. All I can say is good luck, Michael.
That's amazing. Good luck to Michael Wardian. That's great.
That's great, yeah.
All right. So much. That's it for our news items. We'll be back with our CBB, Community Bulletin Board file, right after we hear from Adele Quo. And
it's easy being green. Oh.
Here's Adele. You, Adele.
Hey,
your
thanks
turn.
everyone. Welcome to another It's Easy Being Green. My name's Adele Quo. My mascot, Joe Tree Frog, and I, we're ready to try something new. Our anchor here, Craig, is going to help us out with the new Mystery Tree of the Month.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun. Craig, tell us a little bit about this mystery tree that you saw, where you saw it, and what struck you to submit it as the first mystery.
I mean, I like trees, and the location may give its identity away, but I saw this tree at Haynes Point, which is down on the Potomac River, where the Potomac and the Washington Channel come together. And there are quite a few of them down there, lots of these types of trees, and was just fascinated by it. It's a majestic tree. It grows to be, I don't know, 50, 60 feet in height or more.
It's
and
a
I'm
pretty
not
big
sure if it was
tree.
an evergreen or a deciduous tree or what, but I'm not going to say too much more. I don't want to give
No,
it
that's
away.
great.
But we have pictures and some
I
specimens.
saw you brought in
of the
some
tree.
show and tell. So go ahead and venture a guess. I think it's kind of an awesome tree itself.
Well, you want me to guess?
Go ahead and guess.
Well, but I know what
He
the
probably
tree
knows
is,
what
so
it is.
All right,
It
well-
would be an unfair advantage, but let's leave it to our viewers to guess.
Yeah, yeah.
All
Let's
right.
leave it up in the air for now and see if anyone out there watching may guess what this tree is. It likes water, and one of the big hints may be that it has knees, which are parts of its root system that come up out of the ground, because a lot of these trees live in or around watery and swampy plaplaces.
Exactly.
So it does have knees, it does produce cones, and it has a very feathery type of
The foliage?
short little needles that are very feathery. It's a very majestic looking tree, and there are a lot of them at Haynes Point. So that's where I'll leave it, and we'll see if someone can write in, call in, text in, whatever, and give us the identity of this mystery tree, our first mystery tree of the month. Okay? I mean,
Well,
anything
one of
else to
the
add?
big things that might help is to clarify whether it is evergreen or
Oh, well,
deciduous.
That's true.
So it is a tree with needles, not leaves.
Yes.
But it is deciduous. So that might give it away. But that is one of its distinctive features. Craig's already talked about the very cool cone-like protrusions, the cypress knees. Ooh, that gave it away. But we also, well, that's what they're called.
That's what they're called. Well,
And it also is called the eternal wood. It's a valued timber, and it's famous for making boats and bridges. So this is a very, very cool tree.
it does shed its needles in
It
the
does.
fall. 'Cause
It
when I
completely
was
loses
just
them.
down there recently, and all the needles, the ones that are still on the tree, are dead, but most of the needles that have fallen off are laying along the ground. So it does shed its needles.
Absolutely deciduous. And some other cool things about it. We talked about the timber. It has both male and female parts. So yeah, write on in, contact us, let us know if you know what
Send us
this
your
mystery
guess.
tree. And thank you for joining us for our
Yeah.
first mystery tree of the month. We hope you're excited about it, and we'd love to hear from you.
Great.
And remember, it's easy being green.
Being a mystery tree. All
Mystery
right.
tree.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Adele.
Thank you.
Okay, as promised now, moving right along, here we go with our first of our CBB items. Well, the Friends of Arlington Public Library will host their annual Lit Up Ball on Thursday, March 2nd. However, you'll want to get your tickets in advance. Early bird tickets go on sale on Tuesday, January 14, $25 a piece. The next day, February 15, ticket prices go up $10 to $35, so get them in advance. This year's ball is in honor of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter book series. The name is the Muggle Ball. You must be 18 years of age or older to attend. Attendees dressed in their wizardry best may win a prize for best costume. Whether you come in costume or not, there will be great live music, hors d'oeuvres, a raffle, and a lot more. Proceeds will go toward the library's early literacy initiative and community awareness programs. It'll run from 7 to 11 p.m. at the Clarendon Ballroom. So that's a heads up for a great event. Get involved in that if you can. Daniel.
And to the viewer question, do you know what muggle is?
A muggle ball. No, I don't.
Human.
Is it something to drink?
No.
okay.
Well, Craig, in partnership with A-SPAN, the Volunteers for Host, or Helping Others Setting Tables, invite their homeless neighbors into St. George's Parish Episcopal Church Hall, or sometimes room 114, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evening for coffee, conversation, nourishment, and contact with A-SPAN case workers. Their volunteers, a mix of parishioners and non-parishioners, prepare and serve coffee and snacks. And A-SPAN's volunteers provide a bagged dinner. Interested in helping out on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday from 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m.? Well, they love to hear from you. They always have 2 volunteers per shift, and one of the veteran volunteers will teach you everything you need to know. You can volunteer as often or as little as you like, and once you complete your orientation shift, they will give you access to an online scheduler so you can sign up for more shifts. So register.
Register early. All right, Daniel, also in our CBB file, well, AFAC, or the Arlington Food Assistance Center, is seeking soup bowls for their upcoming Empty Bowls Lunch fundraiser, which is coming up Sunday, February 5. They're looking for hand-thrown bowls that will hold 10 to 12 ounces of soup. The deadline for donation is Friday, January 27, which is coming up here right quick if you're watching our Thursday night show. That would be tomorrow. Donation boxes are located at Lee Arts Center and Thomas Jefferson TJ Community Center. Pickups can be arranged. For more information, contact puen.lee@afac.org for more information. Daniel.
And Craig, if you're a current or retired medical professional or would like to support local medical services, then consider joining the Arlington County Medical Reserve Corps, or ACMRC. This is a national network of trained doctors, nurses, dentists, pharmacists, veterinarians, and others who can help support health and safety drives for the public. Volunteers will be trained to assist with various initiatives such as mass immunization, public health outreach, epidemic investigations, phone calls, and much more. There are also non-medical openings for work such as computer support and administration. Part-time, full-time positions are open. Visit the website that's at health.arlingtonva.us/medical-reserve-corps to learn more. Now that's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful, the ACMRC. All right, thanks, Daniel. And stick around, don't go away. Our News for Seniors segment is coming up right after we hear from our Styrofoam mom, Miriam Gennari, and another installment of her Sustainable Scoop. Here's Miriam.
Living green walls are an architectural design that's catching on because they're beautiful and they're lush, but there are many more benefits to the green wall movement. And joining me today to talk about his budding green wall business is Craighton Ellingsworth from Green Wall Source, and you're the president and CEO, right?
That's right. Thanks for having me here, Miriam.
Well,
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for coming. So how did this trend get started, green walls?
Oh, it started about 20 years ago, honestly. NASA did some research into green walls and space stations for air filtration, and then we saw some commercial products coming out of France that were a little bit more commercially viable in terms of something that we could start putting in office buildings and residences. And then in the last 10 years, we've seen a whole lot of new green wall systems being developed and coming out there on the market from a variety of different vendors, both here in America and Europe. So there's just a lot of options now on green walls, from hydroponic systems to potted soil systems. There's many different ways to achieve these vertical walls of greenery.
Well, I would imagine that with a system like that and the investment that goes into it, you want an expert. And so let's just spend a little time on your expertise and how you got involved with green walls.
Sure. So I actually have been involved with this for about 10 years now. I've been looking at them since about 2007 and trying to design different ways of doing these to make it a little bit easier and simpler for everybody to be able to access them. I've gotten some certifications that are along the way that really help demonstrate the knowledge in the industry. There's
Tell me
a
about those.
LEED accredited professional for building design and construction. That's basically those plaques that you see on the front of all the buildings showing that they're LEED certified. I'm one of the people that helps them achieve that and figure out what the strategies that they're going to utilize to get that certification for their building. I've also become a WELL AP, which is really more around the health and wellness of the occupants of a building, making sure that they've got a healthy environment in which to do their work or in which to live. And all those things really lend themselves to green walls and being accepted in the industry as not just a fad, but a really a viable tool that's very helpful and just really beautiful.
Not only is it beautiful, but there are some monetary benefits. So let's talk first about the environmental benefits of having a green wall interior.
So bringing a green wall inside, what you're getting first of all is biophilic benefit, which is bringing nature indoors and just giving people that feeling of being outdoors and being in a natural environment. You're also getting the air filtration benefits from the green walls. So we're removing harmful toxins from the air as well. And you generally see an improvement in health from people who are in environments with a lot of green plants there. They actually provide a little bit of regulation to the humidity levels in the air, and they just provide cleaner air and more natural air that really you see less sicknesses in these environments as well. So it's just multiple benefits on many levels.
Not to mention plants make people happier, right?
Exactly.
And from a perspective of always trying to think about how to stimulate learning in children, I would imagine that seeing things grow, hands-on learning, the opportunities of being part of something like that is a positive.
Absolutely. You know, plants, surprisingly enough, not just learning how to care for them and grow them, but just bringing them into a learning environment, it does something in children's minds. We've got the studies that back it up. We don't know exactly why it helps them, but we know it helps them study better, perform better. Their cognitive performances improve in rooms with greenery in them. Plants absolutely belong in classrooms. They're not only good for kids to learn, they help them learn and become more effective.
So we can all kind of envision what it would be like to have a beautiful green wall in our house. But what about city planners? How are they integrating green walls? Because you see it in some of these cities that are really concrete jungles, and they're trying to like spice it up and make it a little more welcoming, right?
Right, exactly. You find a lot of these urban centers that don't have a lot of greenery in them, and they don't have a lot of horizontal space anymore in which to create a park or something like that. Especially you look in the heart of Manhattan and areas like that. So they're looking a lot more at using these vertical surfaces to bring the greenery in, to provide sound dampening in the cities as well. They really do a great job absorbing sound. So they can really help soften the feel in a city center as well. And do a great job at removing pollutants from the air as well. That's one of the things that we found them being most successful at. We see really big drops in the level of pollutants in the local areas right around these green walls. There are measurable reductions.
So it would seem to me that a project like this would require some planning, and you'd want to consult with somebody. So at what phase would somebody call you in to discuss the potential green roof? Think about it in terms of like buildings.
Right, and you know, we like to be involved at the earliest design concept, because making the wall an integral part of your building design and your plan, whether it's just as an artistic and aesthetic element, or if it's one of these active air filtration green walls that actually breathe and are maybe even integrated with your HVAC units and are part of your air handling strategy, the earlier we're involved with the design, the more benefit we can get out of the walls and we can provide for the clients who purchase them.
And so right now you're based here in Arlington. You've got a project that people could go and see?
Actually, it's right here on the screen right now. This is the common application here in Arlington. They're one of our local clients, and this is a great wall. It's about 500 square feet, and we really use some of our real standard plants there, actually, is what you see. You'll see pothos, and you'll see philodendrons and scheffaleras on there. These are great, sturdy plants that really are going to survive everywhere.
This is fantastic. Well, how do people get in touch with you?
So we can be found on the web at www.greenwallsource, that's all one word, greenwallsource.com. Our phone number, 703-340-7770. And we're available anytime. We're always happy to talk about green walls.
Well, I want to thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking about green walls. I hope you come back and see us.
Love to, love talking about them.
Excellent. All right, now I want to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning in to the Sustainable Scoop. That's our news. Now back to the news desk.
All right, thanks, Miriam. Get yourself a green wall.
Yeah, looks
You
cool.
don't need windows or anything. The green does it all. That's a good idea. Thanks, Miriam. We appreciate it. Okay, as promised, now here we go. Our News for Seniors segment. Well, Aging Matters is a new weekly program on Radio Arlington. Host Cheryl Beversdorf interviews experts about timely topics impacting the lives of older adults and their families. Aging Matters airs Tuesdays from 2 to 3 p.m. on WERA 96.7 Low Power FM. Upcoming guests include Kathy Turner, Director of Health Promotion and Senior Health at Virginia Hospital Center, to discuss the Lifeline program, and Catherine Strong, a registered dietitian from the Virginia Cooperative Extension, to talk about food safety and eating healthy. Plus, a Washington Gas representative will discuss how to stay warm and pay heating bills during the winter. Sounds like a great program.
Great program.
Daniel.
Well, Craig, if you want to make a big difference for the better for someone who's elderly or disabled, then consider becoming a guardian. The county is training a growing team of volunteers who serve as court-appointed guardians and or conservators. To learn more about the challenging and also highly rewarding role, give them a call at 703-228-1700. Craig.
And Daniel, also in our News for Seniors file, if you're an experienced piano player, consider volunteering to teach seniors how to play piano. Whether you're a young adult or young at heart, you can help someone keep learning, growing, and staying curious by providing one-on-one instruction for about an hour a week. For more information for this senior volunteer opportunity, give them a call, 703-228-4730. Daniel.
And Craig, for Spanish speakers, Arlington Mill needs volunteers for their senior center's language class. Their beginner conversational Spanish sessions are on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9:30 to 11 p.m. If you're interested in leading a class, then give them a call at 703-228-7790.
All right, Daniel, that's our News for Seniors segment. And just a reminder on our new segment here for Mystery Tree of the Month, we forgot to give you any contact information. So if you have an idea of what this mystery tree is that we're talking about, you can email it to Adele, which is A-D-E-L-K, Adele K, at easybeingreen@gmail.com, or give AIM a call here. There's at 703-524-2388. And give us your thoughts on what our Mystery Tree of the Month is all about. All right, Daniel.
And Craig, every 4 years on January the 20th, it is Inauguration Day in the nation's capital. This year saw the transfer of power from a Democratic president to a Republican president. I'm now joined here with my partner in crime, Adele Crow, who helped me with the story. Adele, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, no problem. We had a good time.
We had a great time. We're talking to different people, and WMATA reported that ridership was about 570,557 this inauguration. So in your opinion, how did it all go down?
Well, I just remember we got there a little later than the 4 years ago, and security seemed to be a little bit tougher this time around, and it slowed us down. We had a long, long wait. But when we got on the mall, I didn't feel it was as crowded as 4 years ago. So I felt there was less people. And I also strongly felt that it was less diversity of people. So those are the two that really stuck out in my mind.
Yes, absolutely. And even one of the journalists that we talked to in our story, she mentioned that it was really a divided America. Did you see that?
Yeah, we saw supporters, of course, and they were very optimistic, excited for for the new presidency. But we also did see protesters, so very divided. The supporters were accepting of the right to protest. A lot of them said it was okay not to agree. But the protesters seemed a little bit more passionate. There was a
Yeah, definitely
we
passionate,
saw,
right?
Yeah.
Some heated exchanges there, right?
Exactly.
Well, they're saying approximately 230 protesters were actually arrested a little bit further down McPherson Square by that metro station, and they also say that about 6 officers were hurt. So, but the protesters around our area were minimal, right?
Well, I think they banned certain signage sizes, so I think the ones that were able to get onto the mall, they were limited in size to their banners and their signage, and they were relatively quieter. Maybe because they were surrounded by supporters, but we did see a few. They just didn't, they weren't agitated.
Absolutely, and then also the really cool part is when we actually got into the mall, because it was about 3 lines to get there, way more security, like you mentioned.
Very heavy security.
We did find 3 friends from Chicago,
Yeah,
which was
that was
really
fun.
cool. And they had costumes. They were very patriotic, and they kept on shouting "USA, USA" all
Yes,
the time.
it was
and
exciting.
their intention was not to be either Republican or Democrat. They weren't being political in any sense, but they were just there to be supportive and to unite the country. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that it was kind of a strong message from President Trump, too. It is, I guess he's calling it a National Day of Patriotism. And in his acceptance speech, or in his inaugural speech, he talked heavily about nationalism. So I think that, you know, it is a time for us to come together in unity and move forward. It was a very bitter campaign, and it's time to unite. And let's see some change.
Yes.
He promised us.
See some change, and I also saw one protester. She said, "Yeah, the speech was great in her opinion, but she needed to see more action." Well, what do you think of that?
Yeah, and I remember one supporter even said that we're paying attention. We're
Right.
here to support you, but we're paying attention, and we want to see this change that you promised.
And finally, how would you conclude the whole experience? I know that you mentioned it earlier, and you mentioned some of the differences from 4 years ago. This is your second inauguration. This is my third.
Yes.
But and covering and actually 4th. So, how would you explain it to
Well, I
people?
think one of the things that I thought was interesting was we had the Mormon Tabernacle Choir instead of Beyonce and Kelly Clarkson.
That's true, right.
You know, I felt like it was a little bit more subdued because of that. You know, I kind of like the whole like Beyonce atmosphere. It's more exciting, but you know.
I always find it really cool when the president-elect is about to go in, and then the announcer announces, President-elect Donald John Trump, or at that the other year was Barack Obama. I always think that that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Well, Craig, that does it over here. Back to you.
Well, thanks, you guys. You got down there,
Yeah.
and kudos and more power to you for getting through all of that security to get to the mall. And I was there a couple days before that on the 18th, just taking pics, but didn't experience anything like you did. So thanks. We appreciate your efforts and your reporting of our 45th presidential
president.
inaugural. Good job. We appreciate it. Thanks. So we're about end of our rope here. We've got to wrap up and move on down the road. Anything else to add before we go? We should also mention that, again,
Let's
our,
say that email again.
our mystery tree of the
Yes,
month.
mystery tree of the
Mystery
month.
tree of the month.
Send your guesses to adelk.easybeingreen@gmail.com.
Or give AIM a call here. They're at 703-524-2388 and give us your guesses and comments.
Did they win a prize or anything?
On our mystery tree of the month. Well, we're still working on it.
Still working
We haven't
on it. It's the
decided
first
what
Work in progress.
the prize will be.
Let's hear
but,
from you.
We'd like to see what your response is.
$100.
All right, getting the wrap here.
No budget.
All right, thanks
From
for
Daniel.
watching this edition of the Arlington Weekly News. Next week, if you're there, we'll try to be here and we'll do it all again. Have a safe week. Bye-bye.